So let's talk a little bit about horror films. This is, I think, one of the key questions. Are we seeking out a good spook and a thriller, or are we searching for something that will terrify us and even elicit curiosity about the demonic realm, about witchcraft? So often I think it's easy for us to say, oh, it's just a movie, it's not a big deal. Or it's just that, no big deal. Even part of Kim's story. It's just a kiss. I'm not engaging in all these other things, sex, alcohol, drugs. What's the big deal? It's so easy for us to make that excuse. And as I mentioned earlier on, in Exorcist, it came out in this incredible article. He's a Dominican father, Francois Dermine, in Italy. And he's been an exorcist since 1994. And he said, we must not undervalue the significance of temptation. It's not as spectacular as possession, but it's far more dangerous to the soul. And so we have to ask this question, what are we tempted by? Do we even know? Do we even know why we search out and seek out particular pleasures? And so I think that this is an important question to ask when talking about horror films. Some of the key concerns I have with horror films at times is that there are key differences. It's one thing to watch a thriller that startles you, leaves you anxious, gives you a good scare. In fact, there was that movie that came out last year, maybe 2 years ago now, and actually the sequel was supposed to come out this year, of A Quiet Place. A great thriller, fantastic story. Left me on the edge of my seat, gave me a good startle and a scream here and there. But it wasn't something that was leaving me anxious, seeking out curiosity about things I shouldn't be curious of. And I think that that's a really good distinction to make. Even films such as The Rite, which I totally regret ever having seen. This is one of those, do not do on a date. If someone wants to go and take you to watch a really creepy movie about exorcisms, you gotta have a boundary and say, no, I really wish I had. For weeks, I had a hard time sleeping, thinking about all the different dimensions of what was happening in The Rite and with the possessions. It was horrible. To this day, I still think about images from that movie. Some people might say, hey, it's great because it's putting, this holy fear in you. No, it's not. It's not. I think that that's important to remember. There's this line from Father Vince Cuna from Family Theater Productions in Hollywood, and he said, the best horror films are those that tell the truth of the fear they are representing, irrespective of whether they are overtly religious content or not. Because what's fascinating is a lot of horror films actually have a lot of religion and Catholicism implemented into them. But just because something such as The Rite has somewhat accurate depictions of exorcisms and so forth, doesn't mean we should watch it just because it elicits fear. Often curiosity can be brought up, and we're taught, especially when studying theology, not to go deeply into studying the demonic realm or even the angelic realm because it exposes us to things that just aren't healthy for us and who we are. So it's food for thought as you consider those spooky movies this weekend. Use prudence and enjoy your Halloween.